Go.
Are you recording now?
Yes.
What we want to do today is just give a quick, simple demonstration of recording a few different types of tools. This happens to be a bevel edge scissor, fairly simple to do, and we're going to show you how we do it real quick. This is a Wolf machine. Wolf Industries makes this machine, and it's made for doing many types of scissors, none of the convex edge scissors, but all of the bevel edge, pinking shears, embroidery, barber, dog grooming, and so on. It's simply a matter of clamping it in, setting your bevel. A couple different ways to determine that, but we're going to go with about 30 degrees, which is typical. You can determine that easily enough by taking a very slight hit, grind, and taking a look at it, and if it looks you need a little more increase, you just move it down another 5 degrees or so. There's other ways of doing it. They have little degree finders you can use. It all takes time and will use up more time when you could be sharpening scissors. This method is quick and simple. You just do a slight little test, because that little angle that you put on there is going to come out when you grind this. You're going to get the right angle. You just match up what's there. What you're trying to do with scissors most of the time is match up what's there. There's a lot going on today in the area of people increasing bevels on bevel edge scissors, usually to about 35 or 40 degrees. They are sharper and they do cut better. They also get dull faster, which may or may not be good for the sharpener. The manufacturer has determined a certain bevel on the scissor, and generally we will try to go with that. Now, we do increase our bevel sometime, but there's always extenuating circumstances when we do that. And this one we're going to go with this. So with a light grind, we just take it slowly across the grinding wheel. This white wheel is an aluminum oxide wheel. You can go in either direction. Usually 3 or 4 passes is about all you need on each side, sometimes less. Depends on the condition of the scissor. Now we're going to take it out and inspect it, look at it, and this side looks fine. So now we simply are going to switch it around to the other side. I'm going to check that degree again because it felt like it slipped a little bit. We're at about 30 degrees on this one. We always check to make sure. This is fine. So we're going to finish up now this side. And our bevels are good. We're going to turn the machine off. Now the wheel on the other side, this is a fine polishing and grinding wheel. This will grind the scissor. We're not going to use it today. We generally don't on most of these type of scissors. We use it on some very fine types of scissors because this doesn't just polish. This actually will cut a bevel. But and it'll give you a nice sharp edge. Our system that we've developed, we go in a little different direction, and this is just our own method of doing this. We have a air collection system going. That's what this here hose is for, to pick up the grinding. It's quite noisy, so we're not running it during this demonstration. Now we're going to use a little ceramic stick to remove the burrs from the scissor. There's various ways of doing this also. Some guys like to take them apart and put them on a very fine stone and do it, but the ceramic stick works just fine. Now we're going to go over here, and we finish this up. We use a high-speed buffing system, a Beldor buffer. Generally, for the most part, we're going to use it on the 8-inch wheel with some white rouge on it. And the main purpose of this, very quick, is just to remove any burrs and polish up the blade to a fine polish. That's exactly what that other wheel would have been doing. We find it faster to go this way. And in this business, speed is what it's about. The more scissors you can do, the more money you can make. Now, for all practical purposes, this scissor would be about done. We will usually finish this up with a little spray of WD-40 on it and wipe it off. You can use some other type of cleaner, but this has always worked for us. We don't leave the WD-40 on it. We're going to wipe it off. Usually we will then blow through it with an air compressor, because we don't want to leave the WD-40 on the blade. We're just using it for cleaning. And then we will just polish it up real good. We'll check the tips to make sure they close properly. If they don't, there's a couple of different ways of arriving at that. One of the ways is to bend the handles. You have to be careful with that if you're going to do it. There's some benders. You find a ball peen hammer works as good as anything. We have the benders, but this is usually faster. You have to be careful because some scissors you can break the handles, so you kind of have to know what you're doing on this. Another way is if they have a bumper, which this doesn't, you could grind the bumper slightly or take a little off the handles. Let's try this and see if we can just get this to bend. This is a cast scissor. It doesn't want to bend a whole lot, so we're going to be careful here. In the old days, all these scissors would bend fairly easily, but things have changed. A lot of this stuff is now coming out of China and Pakistan and all over the place, and they're cast rather than forged. They're less expensive scissors. If you get where you still have a little problem, and this one we do, it's not quite closing at the tips. Another way to handle that is just to re-tip it a little bit. We'll just we've re-tipped it, we've re-pointed it, and we're going to just polish it up on the wheel real quick. And we will be done with this. And in order to test it, we generally, I'll show you exactly how we test our scissors here. There's different ways of doing it. Some people use a paper towel that's wet. That works, kind of messy. Some people will go to the extent of actually trying to have hair. That's kind of, but if someone with a lot of long hair around, what we have found works and works well for us is we will take a piece of regular kleenex tissue, and it's a 2-ply. We will separate it into a single ply. We lay it out and we cut it dry, not wet, and we cut it. And if this scissor is going to pull or at the tips or bend, it's going to do it. And then once it does that, we can correct that. This one wants to bend a little back in this area, and it's because it's kind of loose. Some of these barbers and dog groomers like very loose scissors. Now it's cutting fine. So that ends the demonstration of sharpening a typical 8-inch bevel edge scissor.